Hi everyone, Ash here from the Charity Gaming Guild, bringing you a video on the charity which we're supporting this year, which is ADAPT. ADAPT helps families of premature and newborn babies at Leicester Royal Infirmary and Leicester General Hospital. And way back in 2010, we were one of those families that they helped, and it's this reason that ADAPT has a special place in my heart, for my family at least. When I was 21, myself and my wife Amy, who many of you will know, found out we were pregnant, and we went for our routine 12-week scan. At the end of the scan, we were ushered into a small room which just had a coffee table and some chairs and some leaflets which read how to deal with the loss of your baby. Obviously this was quite a concerning moment for us. We didn't really know what was going on until the doctor came and spoke to us and told us that our baby, who you all know to be Zeke, was to be born with a condition called gastroschisis. This is a condition where the stomach wall doesn't form properly, and so some of the internal organs are on the outside of the body. Following this, we went through a very difficult time of having lots and lots of scans, and there was a lot of uncertainty throughout the pregnancy. However, on the 10th of September 2010, Amy was admitted to Leicester Royal Infirmary under the care of a consultant called Mr. Musa. We were told that Zeke would only have a 5% chance of survival, that if he did survive, his growth would be stunted and he would have additional learning needs, as well as not being able to eat normally. 31 weeks into the pregnancy, while Amy was in hospital, the consultant, Mr. Musa, came round and raised concerns about the lack of amniotic fluid surrounding Zeke, and decided that it would be in the best interest of him for him to be born then, at 31 weeks old. And so on the 8th of October 2010, at 24 minutes past 10, weighing £3 10 ounces, Zeke made his grand entrance into the world. And it was at this point we were first introduced to ADAPT through a lady called Leslie. And ADAPT were incredibly supportive. They gave us a teddy bear to put in with Zeke, and they gave Amy a crocheted square so she could put her scent onto that to put in with Zeke as well, so he got to know Amy's scent. Zeke was taken to the neonatal unit where he received life-saving care, and with his internal organs being on the outside of his body, of course, he had to be properly looked after, and so was in an incubator for a good long time. Over time, the care of the fantastic neonatal unit, Zeke was the first babe with gastroschisis to have the condition reversed with a non-surgical procedure. All of his insides went back inside, and then it was sealed up without the need for an operation. But throughout all of this time, myself and Amy were incredibly uncertain as to what was going on. It was very traumatic. There were lots of wires and alarms and things going on. The nursing staff were fantastic. But ADAPT were a phenomenal support to our family. And without ADAPT, that would have been an incredibly difficult time. That may have been even harder for us to get through. ADAPT checked in with Amy every single day to make sure we were okay and to make sure Zeke was okay as well. At one point, Zeke contracted a disease called necrotizing enterocolitis, or NEC for short. He had to have blood transfusions, and this is quite a messy and not a very pleasant thing to watch. ADAPT stepped in and they were our eyes and ears, telling us what was going on and letting us know that everything was going to be okay. Obviously, once Zeke was born, Amy wasn't able to stay in the hospital. She was discharged, and that meant that me and Amy had to travel to Leicester. We lived in Peterborough at the time and had to get trains, and my job wasn't particularly well paid. ADAPT again stepped in, and they gave us funding to enable us to travel to be with Zeke in those early weeks of his life. It was a scary, scary time, but thanks to ADAPT, it was that a little bit easier. They were a group of people who were there to support us, who weren't medically trained, and who were there to enable us to be with Zeke in those critical stages of his life. Zeke came home at bang on 6 weeks old, and those of you out there who have met Zeke will know he definitely doesn't have stunted growth. He's now pretty much as big as Amy at age 13. He doesn't have additional learning needs. He's a very intelligent boy, and we're very, very lucky that he's academically clever. And he eats like an absolute horse. There are no concerns there at all. So we went from a 5% chance with all of these possible outcomes through to where Zeke is today. Many of you will have met him. Adapt are a fantastic charity, and our story is just one of many stories out there that Adapt have stepped in and helped other people with. And I'm sure that there are many, many more. And over the coming months, as we lead up to our November event, I will bring you more stories about Adapt. And although there won't be my stories, there'll be other people's stories, and we'll speak to Adapt as well. But there'll be a QR code in the top corner of this video, which you can scan and go and donate ready for the November game. If you're not playing, make sure you leave a player's name. And if you don't have a player's name, just leave a donation there anyway, and we'll allocate those donations amongst our players evenly. If you are coming along, please encourage your friends and family to donate to November's game. Make sure that you get those in-game rewards. But ultimately, this year is about giving that grant payment to Adapt to allow them to do the fantastic work that they do. They continue to do 13 years on. They still help all of those families at Leicester General Hospital and Leicester Royal Infirmary.